There comes a moment in every soul's journey where you have to decide, will you remain where it's comfortable, or will you rise through the fire to become who you were born to be? See, pain is a part of life, my friend. But there's a kind of pain that breaks you, and then there's a kind of pain that builds you. And too often we run from both. We want blessings without burden, victory without the valley, growth without the grind. But real growth, the kind that transforms hearts and rewrites legacies, that kind of growth costs something. Let me tell you this. You were not created to remain in a season that's already expired. You were not built to replay the same chapter just because you fear the unknown. God didn't breathe life into you so you could hide from your purpose behind excuses and fear. No, you were designed to evolve. And sometimes the ache you feel is not because you're weak, it's because your spirit is stretching. Your calling is too big for the space you're currently in. So if you've been stuck, tired, or questioning whether you've got what it takes to move forward, I need you to lean in right now. Because this message is not just motivation. This is revelation. This is that wake-up call your soul's been crying out for. And before this message is over, you'll understand why the pain you're going through is not punishment, it's preparation. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you won't just feel inspired, you'll be ready to rise. The fear of change is one of the greatest barriers to personal growth. It disguises itself as safety, as logic, even as wisdom, but deep down it's resistance. We cling to the familiar, even when it's hurting us, because the unknown feels threatening. But what we often fail to realize is that staying the same can be more dangerous than stepping into the unfamiliar. When you don't allow yourself to change, you also don't allow yourself to heal, to evolve, to live the life God intended for you. Any change, bad changes, good changes, permanent, or commence with a life designed for you. Fear convinces you that where you are is the best you'll ever have, when in reality, it's just the beginning. Many people don't grow, not because they lack potential, but because they stay locked in cycles that no longer serve them. They stay in toxic relationships, unfulfilling jobs, and unhealthy habits, because it's easier than facing the uncertainty that comes with breaking free. They settle for less, not because they want less, but because they fear losing everything if they reach for more. But what if more is exactly what you were created for? What if the very pain you're avoiding is the gateway to your next level? That fear is not a stop sign, it's a sign that you're standing at the edge of breakthrough. Growth demands courage. Not the kind of courage that's loud and flashy, but the quiet courage to say, I can't stay here anymore. It's the decision to walk away from what no longer fits you, even when it still feels familiar. It's having the faith to believe that God has something greater for you on the other side of your comfort zone. That's when transformation begins. Not when everything is perfect, but when your faith is bigger than your fear. You don't need the full picture to take the first step. You just need the strength to let go of the shore and trust that you weren't made to stay stuck in shallow waters. Pain is a universal language, but it speaks differently to those who listen with the heart. Most people try to run from pain, numb it, hide it, or pretend it's not there. But what they don't realize is that pain has a purpose. It's not just there to break you, it's there to build you. Every heartbreak, every failure, every setback has the potential to either paralyze you or propel you. The difference lies in how you choose to see it. Pain is a teacher that doesn't whisper, it shouts. And if you pay attention, you'll realize it's pointing you toward a version of yourself you haven't met yet. There's a refining fire in pain that comfort can never replicate. Comfort keeps you where you are, but pain, real, raw, unfiltered pain, challenges every belief you have about yourself. It makes you question your strength, your value, your purpose. But here's the thing, you don't grow when things are easy. You grow when things are hard. when you have no choice but to stretch beyond your limits. Pain forces you to confront the lies you've believed, the fears you've nurtured, and the wounds you've buried. It calls you to step up, to rise higher, to become someone stronger. When you shift your perspective and stop seeing pain as punishment and start seeing it as preparation, your entire life changes. You stop asking, why me, and start asking, what is this trying to teach me? You begin to find meaning in the mess, wisdom in the wounds, and power in the process. Pain becomes less about suffering and more about shaping. The pressure you're feeling isn't here to destroy you, it's here to develop you. Diamonds don't form without pressure, and neither does purpose. You're not being broken for nothing, you're being broken open so something greater can be born inside of you. We live in a world where the pursuit of ease has become more attractive than the pursuit of meaning. But the truth is, staying stuck might feel safe, but it slowly eats away at your spirit. There's a subtle kind of suffering in stagnation, one that doesn't scream but whispers over time. It shows up in regret, in restlessness, in the quiet realization that you were made for more. We think avoiding change protects us, but what it really does is block our true potential. What it really does is protect us, but what it really does is protect us. It puts us in a cage where we may not feel the burn of pain, but we feel the dull ache of unfulfilled potential. The longer you stay in a place that no longer grows you, the heavier it gets. That weight isn't just emotional. It becomes spiritual. It affects how you see yourself, how you pray, how you move through life. You begin to question your worth, not because you aren't valuable, but because you aren't aligned with your purpose. You're standing still while your soul is begging you to move. Growth requires leaving the familiar, and that's terrifying. But so is waking up one day and realizing your comfort zone became your coffin. The pain of staying stuck is often disguised as convenience. It feels like staying where it's warm, where people know your name, where routines are predictable. But deep inside, there's a voice that keeps saying, there's more. And no matter how much you try to silence it, it keeps speaking. That voice is your future calling, your destiny knocking. And the longer you ignore it, the louder the pain becomes. Not the pain of moving, but the pain of missing what could have been. You were not created to settle. Your Creator placed something eternal within you, something that longs to evolve, to become, to rise. You cannot fulfill a divine purpose while clinging to a place that was only meant to be temporary. Growth demands a kind of faith that doesn't always come easy. When you're stepping into something new, you're not just leaving behind what's familiar. You're also walking into the unknown without a guarantee. That's where courage meets obedience. You don't grow by seeing the whole staircase. You grow by taking the first step, even when your knees are shaking. It's about trusting something greater than your fear, believing that if you're being pulled toward something higher, it's because there's something in you that's ready for it. It's not easy to keep walking when you don't know what's on the other side. But growth doesn't happen in the comfort of clarity. It happens in the stretching, in the waiting, in the silent places where faith is all you have to hold on to. Those moments refine you. They strip away what's fake and reveal what's real. Because when your vision is blurry and the road is dark, that's when your soul starts listening more closely to God's voice. It's in those times that you realize growth isn't just physical or emotional, it's deeply spiritual. And in this process, you're going to feel resistance. Your mind will try to keep you safe, your environment might not understand you, and sometimes even the people you love won't support your steps forward. But that's okay. Growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent, sometimes it's lonely, and sometimes it looks like small acts of bravery repeated every day. You don't have to make a grand leap to grow. You just have to keep moving forward, even if it's slow, even if it's quiet. You weren't designed to live a life of fear-based decisions. You were made to trust the God who planted purpose in your pain and potential in your process. The more you lean on Him, the more you discover that growth isn't about what you achieve, it's about who you become along the way. Growth is a journey that often feels like a constant push against a heavy current. The path is rarely smooth or linear, and there will be moments when everything seems to be going wrong. But those very struggles are shaping you, molding your character and strengthening your resolve. The pain you feel as you struggle against the tide is not a sign of defeat, but rather a sign of progress. The harder the struggle, the greater the transformation. Through the discomfort, you become the person capable of achieving what you once thought was impossible. When you're stuck, it feels as though time is moving in slow motion. You're caught in a cycle, feeling stagnant and unsure of how to break free. But this feeling of being stuck is often a result of resisting change, holding on to comfort, and staying within familiar boundaries. It's important to understand that staying stuck is its own kind of pain. It keeps you from tapping into your true potential, from experiencing life fully, and from embracing the growth that's waiting on the other side of fear. The pain of staying stuck is the pain of not moving, of not evolving into the person you are meant to be. Choosing to grow means choosing to confront your fears and doubts head on. It's about deciding to step out of the familiar and into the unknown. It's not about avoiding the discomfort or trying to sidestep the challenges. It's about facing them, learning from them, and using them as stepping stones to reach higher ground. With every new obstacle, you gain wisdom, resilience, and strength that you wouldn't have found in the comfort of stagnation. The growth that comes through pain is the kind that transforms your life in ways you never imagined. This process is not easy, but it's worth it. The pain you face today is nothing compared to the strength, the wisdom, and the peace that will come when you allow yourself to grow. It's in the struggle that you discover your true strength. Growth is painful, but staying stuck is even more painful. The choice is yours. Growth requires you to shed the old version of yourself. You must let go of the limiting beliefs, outdated habits, and the fears that have been holding you back. This process of shedding may feel uncomfortable because it forces you to step away from what you have always known, even if it hasn't been serving you well. But in order to grow, you have to embrace the discomfort that comes with transformation. This is where the real work begins, not when things are easy, but when you choose to move forward despite the challenge. The discomfort of growth is the sign that something greater is on the horizon. It's natural to resist change, especially when it challenges everything you've built around yourself. The human mind often seeks safety and familiarity, even if it's harmful. But deep down, you know that in order to reach the next level, you must take risks and break free from your comfort zone. This is where growth happens, not in the easy moments, but in the struggles. It's in pushing yourself beyond what feels comfortable that you discover what you're truly capable of achieving. The pain of growth is a catalyst for deeper self-discovery. It forces you to evaluate your current reality and question what you want your future to look like. Growth is about making decisions that are uncomfortable but necessary for your development. When you experience discomfort, it's a sign that you're on the right path. It's a reminder that the version of yourself you've been holding on to no longer fits the person you're becoming. You are stretching, evolving, and stepping into the next chapter of your journey. As you go through this process, remember that the discomfort will not last forever. It is temporary, but the growth you experience will stay with you for a lifetime. The pain will fade, but the lessons, the strength, and the growth will become a permanent part of who you are. So embrace the challenge, trust the process, and allow yourself to grow into the person you were always meant to be. In conclusion, growth is not an easy journey, but it is a necessary one. The pain we experience during growth is a powerful reminder that we are evolving, shedding old versions of ourselves to make room for something better. Every challenge, every discomfort, is part of the process that shapes us into stronger, wiser, and more resilient individuals. It is through embracing these difficulties and pushing through them that we ultimately create a life of purpose and fulfillment. Remember, the growth you seek requires you to take risks, break free from your comfort zone, and keep moving forward no matter how hard it may seem. The discomfort is temporary, but the transformation that comes with it will stay with you for a lifetime. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. I hope these words have inspired you to push through your own challenges and embrace the growth waiting for you on the other side. Keep moving forward, and never forget that you have the power to shape your own destiny. Thank you again, and may your journey be filled with strength, courage, and endless growth.